Thought today we would talk about reports. So, yesterday we talked about reconciliations and why they're important. I got a few questions from you, so we're going to answer those. If you don't know, hi, I'm Candus Kampfer, and I love helping business owners and bookkeepers customize QuickBooks so that you can understand the data you're entering, help your business become more profitable, and grow it. So let's talk about QuickBooks. I want to start with some of the questions I received yesterday. So, in yesterday's live, we talked about understanding reports or understanding reconciliations so that you can get to reports, right? So, there's like a journey with QuickBooks. You enter in your data, you verify it with reconciliations, and then you go into your reports. Hey, Mary, it's nice to see you. So let's talk about one. Let me know below, are you pulling reports right now when you enter your data, right? So often what I see a lot of people doing is they enter in all their QuickBooks. You may have heard me talk about my hairdresser before, where she was entering in for years, like 5, 6 years. She was entering data. And then she was going through divorce, life was happening, and she was thinking about getting a location closer. She has a studio out of her home. She was thinking about getting something in town. The thing that was holding her back, though, was she wasn't really sure what she was making. And so I asked her, because I love business, as you guys will know if you ever chat with me. I said, how are you finding out about like what's going on in your business? How do you file your tax? She goes, I use QuickBooks. And I'm like, do you pull your profit and loss? And she's like, I don't know how. Right. So I love teaching you guys that. I teach that often on my Getting Started QuickBooks workshops. And it's all about that's the end result, right? We do all this work so that we can pull the reports. My second question is, if you are pulling the reports, so my first was, are you pulling reports? The second is, when you pull reports, do you feel like you understand what they're saying? Let me know that too. Okay, if you're here, let me know. And if you're catching the replay, let me know you were here catching the replay. All right, awesome. So when you're pulling your reports, if you didn't see, I shared a video about last week, I believe, on reports. And it was a video I created that teaches you guys how to generate and start understanding your reports. I will share with you the link to this video if you want to go back on more about like how to pull reports and how the data works. I'll put it in there in a second. I went to go put it in, but we're here. I think I can put it in. Yay! The show, do you guys see it? Let me know. If you're here live, like, let me know you can see and hear me fine. Once I did a video and I went through like the whole video to find out that nobody could hear me and I had to go back and redo it. So everybody can see it? Yay. Okay, cool. All right. So there's a video for you on how to pull your reports, how to start reading them. What I want to talk to you about today is more, can you understand your reports, and then how to go from there. And I want to do a little Q&A with you guys on reports and the reconciliations. I received a couple questions. Sound good? Okay. So when you're in QuickBooks, let me put it down here. When you're in QuickBooks, you're going to go into Reports, Company Financial. These are the 3 clicks that I love to teach you guys. Reports, Company Financial, Profit and Loss Standard. What is a profit and loss? It tells you during the time frame from beginning to end what happened in your business. So there's cash versus accrual, all those details I teach in other classes. Today I want to talk about when you pull your report. Let me know in the comments. Do you understand? The reason that happens is that when you first set up your QuickBooks, you get what's called a canned chart of accounts, where you say, what's your industry standard? In QuickBooks, you pick the one closest to you, and then you go under list chart of accounts. It's already all pre-built out. The disadvantage to that, it's a great place to start. But then as you start pulling your report, you'll find that sometimes these titles don't really match what you want. Or maybe you didn't understand what they were, so you just kind of put stuff in random places. Let me know, is that you? I'm going to look in the chat real quick. Any of you guys feel like that? If you're here, let me know. There's a slight delay, so sometimes it doesn't come through right away. But I want to know, does it feel like that to you? Do you pull your reports? Let me know that too. So the key to getting to the point where you're beyond just canned reports is starting to think about what you want to see in your reports. Okay. So for example, it's kind of funny. Yes, sometimes that's okay. Do you guys know? Let's start here. Maybe I should back up a step. Do you know why import reports are important? Be honest with me. If you're here live, please respond. I love it. Do you know why reports are important? Or do you think they're important to your business? We should start there. Okay. So the reason reports are important is, especially if you entered the data in properly, is that it gives you a black and white, very clear, especially if you already reconciled, which was the step we talked about yesterday, gives you very clear what's happening in your business in black and white. And a lot of times, people, I remember one of my masterminds, I was like, they're talking about their, um, they have like rental, they rent trailers. And I was like, oh, great. So, because they're in different states, I was like, great. So that means we could do some job costing, like what is it costing you to rent that trailer out? And if you have to drive it and you have to pay trailer, you have to pay a driver and all these different things. And she was like, it was so funny. She goes, yes, but then I'll know what's happening and I don't want to see that. And I'm like, what? That's the whole point of QuickBooks. If you're running a business, if you don't know what's happening black and white in your business and you're looking at the bank account to help you decide if your business is profitable or how you're doing yourself, like I often say, a huge disservice because there's other factors happening in your business outside of your bank account. Okay. So, and that's often a question I get asked, Candace, why does my profit and loss not match my bank account? Well, because we have credit cards and different things that maybe aren't getting paid down. If you're cash or accrual basis, like there's all these other factors, which we can talk about another time. My main thing I want you guys to think about is, can you read your report and does it make sense? And if you're wanting help with understanding more about reading your reports, I'd recommend going to this training and checking out. If you haven't already, I'll give you the link to the training directly, but you can also just scroll down on my Facebook page, or if you're catching the video on YouTube, you can see it there as well. Okay. I want to encourage you that if you're at a place where you say, Candace, I really want to get to the point where I understand my reports better and I'm ready to take it to the next level, right? It's awesome when you first get started to just enter in all your expenses, all your income, and reconcile. That's like a thing to celebrate. Would you not agree? Pull your report the first time, celebrate that. Okay. So if you're just at the places where you're like getting started, great. And for those of you who are like, I got that handled, but now when I pull my profit and loss, it's not the way I want to see it. I'm doing a special class next week for my QuickBooks Simplified community, all about how to customize your chart of accounts and your items so that they point in the right direction. So basically, I take QuickBooks, I think of it either as like a house and we build it up, or you could think of it as a cake. You need to know what you want the end result to be. That's your reports. The final step to actually know that all the data you did made sense. All of you enter so much data, right? Every year when I go to file my taxes, I'm like, oh my goodness, the amount of work that it takes to do your data is such a blessing for all of you. Like my husband like jokes, his father, before we took over the hard flooring business, my father-in-law did everything by hand. And now I do it all in QuickBooks, right? I teach QuickBooks and I use QuickBooks I had for years. But we talk about like the difference it made in our taxes. What is the difference it made? Like when I went to see my tax professional, it's still work. Like I'm not going to tell you that using QuickBooks isn't any work, but the level you get to with your reports, if you're using classes and you use rentals, the data you get from your reports. But the key is having the chart of accounts set up so that it can then pull. Did you guys know that the income and expense categories, let's say this is my sample file, all these titles, do you know where they come from? The chart of accounts. So anytime you don't love these, you want to change these, that's what you're going to do. If you want to attend our live class, I will put the link. You can register for it. We're going to talk about understanding what you wanted to see, thinking about your business. So whenever I'm designing QuickBooks, it's like a recipe. It's like, well, what do you want to see in these spots? How do you want this to look? And then we start designing it around your business. And I'm super excited. So the Simplified community, every month we do a specialized training. And this month happens to be how to fix your chart of accounts. And when they pick this topic, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited because this is my zone of like my my like zone of genius is you telling me about your business when we do them, and then getting to the point where I can help you customize it. And that's what we're going to do. I'm so excited. So excited. Can you talk about how job costing reports look? What specifically do you mean, Marcia? One of the things we do in the Simplified is we've done a job costing training. Let me share with you. Let me see if I can share with you real quick. One second. Do you guys want to see inside the Simplified community? We do monthly training, and one of the trainings that we've done is, let me see if I can get this down here correctly. So I want to share. I think I just messed it up probably. It's not going to the tab I want to show. Wait, give me a second. This is how technology works. You're like, hold on. Let me see if I can share the right tab. Okay. I think this is the tab. I'm sharing the correct tab now. Let me see. One second. Yay, there we go. Okay. So this is inside the Simplified community. And so every month we do a topic, but it's really for somebody who's already has some QuickBooks experience. I just want to be really clear. So we do, what the community does is every month we either talk about how to clean up an area of your QuickBooks. So if you're like, Candace, how do I clean up my vendor center? How do I clean up my customers? Or you want to learn about journal entries, more advanced topics, we cover that kind of stuff. If you want to understand more about reports, we've done training on that before, and we did do a training on job costing. So I know that was a question that we received. You get access as a bonus, not only to what we're training this month, but I also let you see the other months as well. So you can come check those out. I wanted to see if she said more about what she meant about job costing specifically. The benefit of job costing is that, let me get to the right little tab. I got so many tabs. The key to job costing, since I didn't see that you asked any other specific questions about it, is you can see your profitability. So there's job reports, but the one I usually use for my husband when he was doing construction was a profit and loss by job. And what this, I use a profit and loss by job for construction, a profit and loss by class for rental properties, which we actually have a training inside the Simplified for rentals as well. So what you want to do is you'll go in and you need to pick both the customer, set up your customer, and then as you spend money, it goes against the customer. And as you bill them, it goes against income. And you can see, were you profitable or not? So like with my husband's construction company, we had employees. And by the time we did everything, when we first took over, because my father-in-law had never used QuickBooks, he would say to us, when we would do our first jobs and we weren't really making what we thought we would make on a job, we went to him and we said, hey, can you give us advice? And he was like, oh, just charge more. And we're like, but we're not making enough. That doesn't make logical sense. The gift that we had is that we tracked everything in QuickBooks, right? So when I say, I help you guys customize your QuickBooks so you can become more profitable, it's I help you add the detail you need so that you can get the reports to help you make decisions, right? So in that example, we made a decision on what we needed to do with the jobs. So job costing, the key to it is setting up and then tracking all your different things. Just like I was saying, if you're going to do rentals or anything else, where everything's going to go. Does that make sense to your question? Because she was asking, can you show more about job costing reports? Look, so she can let me know if that made sense. All right. I look forward to seeing you guys. If you want to join the Simplified community, you can go to QuickBooksSimplified.com. I'll put the link in here too if you want. I want to go through a couple questions that I received on yesterday's training, which was all about bank reconciliations. And I had some questions. And then maybe I'll check in and see what questions you guys had about reports. If you have them and you're here live, let me know. So one of the questions I received is, how do I input bank statements into QuickBooks Bank and then reconcile? How do I input my statements in daily? If you don't, so there's two ways to enter your data into QuickBooks. One, you manually enter everything, or you set up a bank feed. So if you're wanting to get to the point where like things are more automated, whether you're a desktop user or online, what I'd recommend for that is bank feeds. Okay. So that's the tip I have for that one. Does that make sense? Do you guys use bank feeds? Let me know. Now, if you watched my video from yesterday, I highly recommend that even if you're using bank feeds, you still need to reconcile. So make sure you watch that video. Question number 2 that I got was, I completed my March statement And now I'm working on April. But I was just told by my CPA I need to go back to 2019 since I just took over the books. Now, something to be really clear is you can't go backwards in reconciliations. You can only move forward. So, what you might want to do to fix your problem is you might need to create a separate bank account that does all of 2019 in QuickBooks and then add a new bank account or use the bank account you're currently using to go forward. So you can have more than one bank account in QuickBooks to work in two different timeframes. That's more advanced technology or strategy, I would say, but it is something that you can do. Okay. Yes, thank you. You're welcome. I'm glad that job costing helped you. If you have any questions while I'm here answering these about Simplified, QuickBooks Simplified community, let me know that too. Then Patty said, Candus, have you had a clear deposit show back up in the outstanding the next month? So what that means is when you're going to reconcile and you're in the reconciliation screen, it pops back up. If you've cleared it, it will not be there. So if you still see something that's showing up, that means you never cleared it. So there's either a duplicated problem or an error. I go under edit search, look up the dollar amount and see if you have more than one transaction, Patty. Hope that helps you. Let us know. Then another question is, I was considering starting over. I'm a pen and paper type person, been using QuickBooks for 5 years, and I didn't keep good records. So something to consider is instead of totally starting over, which I talk about this in Commerce QuickBooks and the Simplified community, is that you need to ask yourself what's wrong with your books. If it's the fact that your bank account is totally off, or is it that your customer center and your vendor center and all of those things are mistakes? And how bad are they? One of the things we do in Simplified is we clean up mistakes, and we also have hot seats. So monthly, on the first Tuesday of every month, we do a training, a deep dive into one topic. This month's topic is how to customize your chart of accounts and items. Then quarterly, we do quarterly hot seats. So when you become a member of the community, you can actually register or you can fill out an application to be part of the hot seat. And it's me going in and helping you fix your QuickBooks or teaching you a specific area of QuickBooks. Okay. So when you go, my stuff is so messed up, do I start over? That's a choice. If you're a desktop user, starting a new QuickBooks file doesn't mean the old one has to go away. You can still use it as reference. The one key is you're going to figure out, where do I want to start? Okay. Where do I want to start? And then move forward. In other words, if I'm almost halfway through 2020, do I want to go back to 2020 or do I want to go to 2019? Or I just want to start where I'm at right now and just move forward and get started, but I'm not going to use this whole year on my tax return. There's a lot of decisions to make, but they're not hard. It's just a decision. Okay. And just like the person who said, I started entering and now my CPA wants me to go back, you can choose to open up, add another bank account. There's always tips and tricks that I love giving you guys to make that easy. My credit card company gives early refunds. Oh, yearly refunds. How do I enter those? Those are considered cashback rewards. Is that what you mean by early refunds? So I will give you a video to watch that teaches you how to do that. I'll show you. Well, let me hold on. Make sure I get the right one up before I tell you. So you have to set it up as an other income account, right? So if your credit card, sorry, trying to multitask here. If your credit card is giving you back money, it's considered other income and it's considered a reward. I'm pretty sure we have a video for it. If I can't find it quickly, I'll come back to the video and I'll submit it later. I know we teach it in other places. In Commerce QuickBooks and in the Simplified, we've talked about how to handle credit cards. That's one of the topics we've covered in the past, was how to handle credit card rewards. So let me look real quick. I don't take everybody else's time to figure this out, but I'll get you the data. The other, the deposit, and you create another income called credit card rewards. If it's a credit back on your credit card, then you're going to do a credit card credit for rewards, and it's going to be other income. So that's your answer. That way you don't have to wait for me to tell you later. All right. I look forward to seeing you. Starting new, never had QuickBooks. How do I start? I have 2 employees and I do payroll. I would recommend for anybody who's brand new getting started, I think we should do a video just on that because we're almost been here for 20 minutes and I want to make sure I honor the time. The thing I would consider is this. Are you going to be online? Have you already bought your QuickBooks and are you going to be doing, Leila, are you going to be doing online or desktop? That's the first thing to consider. It's always picking the software. And if you're going to be processing your own payroll and you're going to be a desktop user and you haven't already bought your QuickBooks, I'd recommend I have a video on this, but I recommend doing the QuickBooks uh, from Costco or anywhere has it's like the bundle for enhanced payroll. So it's like 300 and some $350 or something, and you get both combined. It's typically a great deal to get started. Then the next thing is exactly what I'm teaching in this next class, which is figuring out your chart of accounts and start entering your data and knowing which of the features are the ones you want. Right now, Confidence QuickBooks isn't open for enrollment, but that's a great place to start because we literally teach you how to install the QuickBooks, pick which way you want to enter in your income, pick which way you want to enter in your expenses, how to reconcile, and how to pull your reports. So that one's more like step by step, where the Simplified is more taking your knowledge to the next level and deep diving, and then also getting support on cleaning your mistakes up. So if you haven't already, I'd highly also recommend joining the Confidence with QuickBooks waiting list. So you can just go to confidencewithquickbooks.com. Um, find out more about like joining and finding out more about what that looks like. Okay. So I think that was all the questions for today. I love your teaching. Thank you. That's so kind of you. I love you guys too. This is fun. Are you guys, I've started like, I'm going to start coming on more live. I like it. It's like fun to get to interact with you one on one. So for those of you who are at a place where you want to learn a specific topic each month and you really want to customize your chart of accounts or your reports and your items, and you have a feeling maybe things aren't customized to your business or pointing in the right direction, I highly recommend join us at QuickBooksSimplified.com. Enrollment will close on Friday because we are doing our training next week. So if you want to join now. If you happen to be seeing this and we've already closed, join the waiting list for the next time that we open enrollment. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of my community. My question to you is this: two parts. Have you started reconciling after yesterday's conversation? And two, if you haven't been pulling your reports, I'd like you today or tomorrow then to prioritize taking the time to do the 3 steps. Do you remember what the 3 steps are to pulling your report for the first time? Let's do it together so you're ready. Reports, company and financial, profit and loss standard. If you've been doing job costing, but you have never pulled a report, reports, company financial, profit and loss by job. Okay. We could talk about reports all day long. There's so many things to know. My key to you is one of the keys to learning anything is to do it. That's why I love giving you guys the how-to training so that you can implement. Because if you're anything like I am, I like seeing it. I want to know the why, but I really want to like get in, and I'm a kinesthetic learner. So I like to get in and do it. I encourage you to start doing it today and then come back and comment and let me know, how did it go with your report? Is it the way you want to see it? And what are you going to do next to take your QuickBooks to the next level, which is just entering your data maybe. Maybe it's getting more clear in your reports. Like, what do you think? And maybe we should do a video on that. Like, what is the journey of QuickBooks? Like, you start here and then you're always learning and growing. Is that something you guys would like to know? Let me know. Would you guys like me to share with you the journey of learning QuickBooks? All right. I will see you soon. Remember, it's just step by step. Be patient with yourself. It does take time to learn QuickBooks. And the final thing, it's like taking that fresh banana bread out of the oven or baking whatever it is you love to bake. Like when you take it out and you look at it and you're like, yes, this is what I made. You are making something in QuickBooks absolutely every time you enter your data. And even though you may not love reports in this moment, they're giving you something. So start pulling them, start getting more familiar, and we'll do another training on exactly what they're saying if that's something you guys would love. I'll see you soon. Toodaloo.